So now I want to show you how easy it can be to make some edits to this audio track that I just recorded. I want to edit some things, cut some things out. There's some pauses and some silence. And so those are all things that you can edit easily within GarageBand. What's important to remember is that where this playhead is a lot of times going to determine where you're going to separate the track and do those kinds of edits. So I have this long pause here at the beginning, so I want to go ahead and cut that out. So I'm going to put the playhead right there, and I'm going to click Edit in the menu, and then choose Split Regions at Playhead. You can also remember Command T as the keyboard shortcut. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And so now it's created two separate tracks here. All right, so I've separated this one. And so now the silence here, I can highlight that and then just click Delete on my keypad. And now I've gotten rid of that silence there. I can drag this track so it's back at the beginning or anywhere within this audio recording. So once I bring in my loops and my sounds, me speaking isn't going to be the first thing you necessarily hear. The other thing I want to remove is this other long pause here. And so I'm going to go ahead and Command T and separate there. Move it a little bit further over now. I did have this portion here where I cleared my throat, and then I didn't really like the way I said that part. So I didn't have to stop and start the recording all over. I can just go ahead and cut that part out. And so I'm going to go ahead and split that region there as well. And so now I can select this and just delete that whole portion. Now, while you're doing this kind of editing, if you make a mistake at any point, you can always go back. So even though I've deleted that, you can go and undo that delete. And it's a simple step. First, you can go up here to edit and do undo delete. But the thing that I like to remember, so let's say I delete this, and oops, I didn't mean to do that. The keyboard shortcut is Command Z. And so that will bring back whatever it is you've just deleted. So you can undo anything you might have done by mistake. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And then I want to get rid of the silence here at the end of this one and delete that part. You can even go in here and delete these at the different stanzas. So if you want to be able to drag it around, let the music play a little bit in between, then you're able to separate those so that you can really make the most out of your music and your mood and the tone that you're trying to set. Now what you can do is go back to your track here and then add some effects to your voice to change the sound. So to do that, you're going to click on the library and open up your library of effects up here in the top left corner. You have some options here. We recorded voice, so we want to open that up. And here you have a list of effects that you can click and add to your recording. And so as you click those, you can listen to different types of effects and then choose the one that sounds the best, but also might help enhance the tone of what you're trying to do based on the type of effect. Try listening to a couple of different types and then pick the one that you like best. Here's a couple of examples.
And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm.
Okay, so now we have a good effect selected for our audio recording of our speaking part of the poem. There's a few more things that I want to show you just for you to kind of keep an eye on. One, you do have a volume control here of your actual track, and so you can control that output volume. Also here is the name. It's the name of the effect, but you can also click on here and choose to rename that track. So if you want to give it a different name to help you remember, you can do that. I'm going to leave it like that for now. Also up here in the right is your master volume. And so when you're recording and listening to music, you want to keep an eye on that so that it doesn't get too much into the yellow or the red, because that'll be letting you know that your recording is going to be a little too loud once it's all mixed together. The last thing to keep in mind is this little slider right here. And so that kind of lets you zoom in and out of your recording. So as you add more and more tracks, you'll probably want to zoom further and further out so that you can see everything you have. But if you do want to edit something and get into a very specific point, you can put your playhead in an area and then zoom in so you can get a more exact editing of that. And so it's just a way to make sure that it's going to be exactly the way you want it to be. So there's a few extra things to show you before we move on and start adding some loops to our recording to make it sound exactly like the way we want and to create that tone that we want to express through the loops.